Snake Eyes Zoro, the secret past of Roronoa Zoro is confirmed in an SBS. Another D. Hi everyone, it's Flying Panda. Currently, there is no information about Roronoa Zoro's family and his past in the One Piece anime and manga series. Zoro's past and family background have not been extensively explored in the series, and very little is known about his early life or his family members. Zoro is primarily known for his skill as a swordsman and his loyalty to his friends and crewmates on the Straw Hat Pirates. As the series progresses, we learn more about Zoro's background and character development, but his family's history has not yet been revealed. That was until SBS 105, which was just released and has revealed many interesting facts about Zoro and his past, including the name of his family members. Yes, Oda Sensei did a kid with Zoro rather than revealing it in the manga, it was revealed in the SBS. It's very disappointing, but anyways, let's move on from this. As it was confirmed in my old theory that he is indeed has relationship to being part of the Shimotsuki clan, so the SBS did prove it, but unfortunately I was wrong about his father's identity, but instead him being a new character completely. And no, like some rumors that said Zoro was a clone of Ruma, this was completely untrue, and this SBS proves it. There is no evidence or indication in the series that suggests that Zoro is a clone. Zoro is portrayed as a unique individual with his own personality, backstory, and character development throughout the series. He is one of the main protagonists of the series. It's possible that you may have heard speculation or rumors about Zoro being a clone from other sources, but there is no basis for this theory in the official canon of the series. Now that's put to rest, let's talk about his grandparents, then his parents. Here's the review of his family tree. While I was writing this theory, I found some interesting points from my friend Joe, so check out his post down below. The first two characters mentioned in Zoro's direct lineage are his grandparents, Roronoa Pinzoro and Shimotsuki Furiko, Ushimaru's older sister. Pinzoro means snake eyes, a gambling term. Furiko means pendulum, a weighted device used to help track time. The choice of names seems to be the most interesting thing here. Both of these names have repeated themes we have seen through other characters. Gambling is associated with Fujitora and Rayleigh. Time is associated with Lady Toki. Also, pendulums also work by influence of gravity. Both Amatsuki Toki and Shimotsuki Furiko are women of Wano associated with the concept of time. This seems like it may be of importance. The thematic connections to Fujitora are also interesting, almost suspicious. Are Fujitora and Pinzoro snake eyes connected? If so, how? We'll let you speculate that for now. But we also know that snakes always had hawks as rivals in the animal kingdom. Snakes and hawks do not actively seek out fights or confrontations with each other, as they have different roles and strategies in their respective ecosystems. However, they may come into conflict when a hawk attempts to catch and eat a snake, or when a snake feels threatened by a hawk's presence. In such situations, a snake may try to defend itself by using its natural defenses, such as a venom's bite or fast movements, to escape. Similarly, a hawk may use its sharp talons and beak to catch and kill the snake for food. It is important to note that such interactions between snakes and hawks are not driven by hatred or malice, but rather by their natural instincts and survival strategies. They are simply following their inherent roles in the ecosystem and trying to survive in their own way. Now, why am I mentioning this now? Well, the hawk can be portrayed as Mihawk, and now knowing Zoro's grandfather's name, we now know that Zoro may have some connections to snakes. Zoro's goal is to become the world's greatest swordsman, and he sees Mihawk as the ultimate challenge to achieve that goal. Zoro's admiration for Mihawk's strength and skill as a swordsman is evident throughout the series, but he's also recognized that he must surpass Mihawk to achieve his own dreams. Zoro's desire to beat Mihawk is not driven by personal animosity or hatred, but rather by his strong desire to achieve his own goals and prove his worth as a swordsman. But with this reveal, we've seen that Mihawk has the hawk eyes, and coincidentally, Zoro's eyes close. Years have gone past, and we still don't know what has happened to his eye, but could it be a snake eye? Here comes many Zoro snake eye powers if the translation of this SBS is proven to be correct. Now onto Zoro's parents now. Roronoa Pinzoro and Shimotsuki Furiko's child, their son, Roronoa Arashi, who married Tira, the daughter of a criminal. Arashi means storm, and Tira means Buddhist temple. The word Tira could also be interpreted to the Latin meaning earth. The concept of storms are very significant in the One Piece story. The idea of a coming storm is often associated with the D clan. It is said that the D will always cause another storm. This theme is also embodied by Dragon, who is literally a D, who can summon storms. The concept of the storm essentially represents the fact that the D clan are the sworn enemies of the celestial dragons, the gods, and that they will bring another war that threatens the rule of the celestials. For Zoro's father to be given a name that literally means storm seems quite significant. It's like that his character was associated with fighting the world government. Arashi did die in a battle with pirates. We also know from Zoro's flashback in Wano that they were pirates. This leads us to considering Zoro's mother, Tira, the daughter of a criminal. Before I get to that, the association with Buddhism connects closely to the morals that Zoro follows, the Bushido Code, originated from Zen Buddhism. The alternative interpretation of Tira to the Latin language also makes an interesting connection. In Latin, Tira means earth. This connects us to the concept of Vas, the Skypian word for soil, that they consider to be holy. Zoro was the one that Gunfo explained this to. I think both of these interpretations are valid, and that perhaps they should be considered together, as appreciation of nature is also a principle with significance in Buddhism traditions. Zoro has these values and is associated with these themes because of his mother. This association with nature even comes down to Zoro's nickname, Mosshead. Zoro also recently fought King, who had a tattoo of a blossoming plant. This connects back to the Skypians and the fact that the Lunarians were the ones who created the Room of Flowers in Merijua. Lastly, Zoro's mother is also described as the daughter of a criminal. This description is vague and it seems to tell us nothing, but there are some things we may be able to infer. The term criminal, instead of pirate, may imply a revolutionary's connection. This may seem like a huge reach, but it would actually explain why and how the Shimotsuki became allies with the revolutionary armies. We saw this back in chapter 589 that Koshiro gave dragon supplies, and the Shimotsuki's two-sword flag appeared in chapter 1054 at the parade honoring Sabo. Overall, Zoro's family are closely associated with some of the most significant themes in the One Piece story: time, the storm, revolution, and the values of Earth, and perhaps even the D clan. This family may even have history with characters such as Dragon, Mihawk, Fujitora, or is this family a D also? Another of the worst generation also being a D? Roronoa D Zoro does have a nice ring to it. Most curious of all is that despite now being named, these characters remain silhouette. In my view, this tells us that we can still expect to see these characters in the story, most likely a flashback. Whether or not Zoro's mother Tira was the daughter of one of the revolutionaries remains to be seen, but this is certainly possible. Is it definitely true that the Shimotsuki are allies of the revolutionary armies? So will we likely see these characters through them? To conclude, I would not be at all disencouraged that this information was revealed in an SBS. We can almost certainly be sure that the Shimotsuki will play an important part in the story, and we can even expect to see these characters properly. Anyway, thanks for watching the video. Shout out to Joe, check out his Twitter. Please leave your comments down below. Please click like, and if you haven't, please subscribe to Flying Panda, and of course, join our Discord.
Look! 行くぞ！